We're going to get started with questions, and the first one will be from Ryan Aber from the Oklahoman, and then we'll go with Joe Bettner.
Yeah, Delarian, good to see you again. Obviously, this defense took some steps forward last year, especially as it relates to turnovers. What are some of the areas where you feel like this defense overall can take further steps, and what are the biggest emphases of this spring for you especially?
I feel like as a defense, first off, guys, in order for us to take the next step, I feel like guys need to gain a trust of knowing that, for example, if I have a zone, like knowing that I'm going to play that zone to the best of my ability, so they don't have to overdo their job just because they understand that I'm going to do mine. And being able to play together as a unit, first and foremost, will lead us in the right direction, because a lot of defenses out there that really don't have that really don't trust each other enough. So it's kind of like, they're all over the place. And that doesn't happen much with us, but I do see it at times. But if we can just learn how to, trust one another and like know that I got your back no matter what, then, we'll be able to move in the next direction.
Appreciate it, Delarian.
Thank you.
Go to Joe Bettner and then Jason Kersey.
Hey, Delarian, I wanted to ask you specifically about Jeremiah Criddell. Just from your position as a leader on this team, I'm curious what you've seen from him, just as far as the work he's put in over the past 2 years, and just kind of your expectation for him as far as a guy that can maybe provide at the secondary.
Right. Even before, Criddell got put into this role, every offseason he utilizes it to the best of his ability. Like, anytime, we have a break or something like that, and then we come back to do like DB drills, or like right now how we came back for spring ball, you always see some type of improvement from him. And so I'm not even shocked, that I actually like saw some great things from him today, and even leading up to this, when we're doing drills and things like that. The biggest jump that Criddell has taken, he's become a smarter football player. Like, even though he didn't have a lot of snaps last year, he got in sometimes, played some snaps for the defense, but he's gained a different level of smartness, for his position. He knows that when he sees something, it's time to go. Like, he doesn't second guess himself at all. Like, he's just getting smarter. And like I said, he's always improving whenever we have an off season or some time away from the season. So Criddell, looking forward to him having a huge season and helping us out a lot on defense.
Thanks so much, Larry.
Jason Kersey and then John Hoover.
Yeah, just as the talent level has improved in the secondary, I'm just wondering, guys like you and Pat, established starters, how much you guys have to kind of stay on your toes to hold on to those spots? Right,
like you said, a lot of competition right now in the defensive back room, and I actually love it, because at the end of the day, it's making me and Pat better. Collectively, as a whole, it's making the whole group better, because those guys are producing day in and day out, so that's making us produce day in and day out. No one has time to have an off day, or because there's days when guys come in, they don't feel like practicing. But if you understand that the guy in front of you or the guy behind you is going to come in, he's going to work his butt off, and he's going to make plays, and that kind of translates. So everyone is pushing each other, and at the end of the day, we're getting better as a unit. So I kind of like that. After day one, seeing what guys can actually do, even though we don't have shoulder pads on right now, but seeing what guys can do, seeing them make plays, I'm excited for them, and I'm also excited to get this thing rolling, because like I said, with them being able to do that, it's just going to make us better as a unit.
Thanks a lot, man.
Okay, John Hoover and then Kerry Murdoch.
Hey, Delarian. Statistically, you guys are exactly where you were in spring practice last year. You got one under your belt. So I've asked guys today about not taking that for granted and, using the time you have to get better. And Coach Grinch said you could see the result in the fall of not having spring practice. I wonder, from your perspective, take me back to last year, what a shocker it was when they finally came out and told you, hey, no spring ball this year. It's over. And then how you guys kind of project that going forward this year to I don't know, be better, make sure you don't take it for granted.
Right. Going back to, what you said about Coach Grinch whenever we came back for fall camp last year, and you could tell that we didn't have a spring ball because it kind of led to us having a slow start into fall camp and things like that. And so whenever they told us last year, that we were going to get sent home for a few weeks, I kind of didn't even believe it. Like I had, of course we all saw that the NBA had, shut down and things like that. But I'm like, there's no way that they're sending us home for 2 weeks and, we'll be back in no time. I'm thinking, maybe, just something for right now. And, once 2 weeks led into 2 months, I'm like, wow, this thing is actually crazy. So we were just, sitting on Zoom, trying to come together as a team, trying to get to know each other. Of course, we had some early enrollees. So we had those guys on Zoom, kind of telling about themselves, and we were telling about ourselves as the old guys. And, with them being able to with us being able to have spring this year, man, we can't afford to take it for granted because, we experienced the slow start that we had into fall camp last year just because we didn't have spring ball. So, I mean, we got to cherish every single day because COVID is still out there. It's still real. It still has a huge impact on the world. Guys are, getting vaccinated and things like that. But, we still have to, the biggest thing is we still have to know that COVID is out there and it's still real and that it still can affect us in a negative way. So we just have to stay on our toes with, keeping our mask on and things like that.
Appreciate it, Delarian.
Thank you.
Okay, Kerry Murdoch and then James Hale.
Hey, Delarian, good afternoon. You mentioned vaccinations. How much of a discussion is that with you and your teammates? Do you think that there are guys that, just feel like that's not something that they want to do? And I don't know, how do you guys handle that as teammates and I don't know, maybe having to support someone that doesn't agree with something like that?
Right. Just like you just said about, having to support someone, we've been having those conversations on and off because there are pros and cons to that. If you get vaccinated, then, you don't get hit on the contact tracing, during the season. So you don't have to miss games. Also, you don't have to get tested anymore. So, I mean, guys are really, pushing each other, to go out and get it because at the end of the day, that can help us as a football team because we don't have guys, missing games just because, they ended up getting COVID or ended up getting contact tracing. So we know the pros of it. And so we just got to be able to utilize those things because no one wants to miss a football game, especially, if you're a guy that has a huge impact on the team. And most of the guys in the locker room do have a huge impact on the team. We rotate a lot. So, we can't really afford anyone to go down because if one goes down, then, that could lead to contact tracing for 2 or 3 other guys. And now we're, short. So, we are influencing each other to go get it. And, it's a steady conversation in the locker room.
Also, I'm real curious with OU getting ready to play Gonzaga today. Is there one player in the locker room that stands out to you that absolutely thinks he could help this basketball team, but he probably couldn't?
I'll probably have to go with Nick Bonito. He I don't know if you guys, follow him on Twitter or anything, but he thinks he's a sports analyst, so he feels like he has all the answers. He played basketball back, when we were younger and things like that. He think he can, make an impact on the basketball court today, but I highly doubt it. But I would have to go with Nick Bonito.
Thanks, Delarian. Appreciate it, man.
Mm-hmm.
James Hale and then Barry Trammell.
Hi, Delarian. Hope things are going well with you. Your running mate, Pat Fields, is going to miss most of the spring. So, you and him make calls. He makes a lot of calls. Talk about the adjustment you guys are going to have to make at the safety position. And with the new guys stepping in to replace him, talk about that adjustment a little bit and who's going to take up that responsibility.
Well, as a secondary, we can play any position back there. Coach Grinch can move me around a little bit. He can move Justin Burrows around a little bit, Jeremiah Cardell around a little bit. So the communication part, that isn't going to be difficult and things like that. Okay. But as you guys know, that Pat is a tremendous leader, for this team, and guys, tend to follow his lead, which is a great thing. So, for right now, we're not having him around. So it's kind of like, guys are going to have to step up to that leadership role, even guys, even if they don't want to, they still have to do it. So kind of like myself, matter of fact, today I had to say something to the defensive back group, but usually, Pat would do that. And so with him being out, I wouldn't say it's a huge loss because all the guys know the defense. Guys can come in and produce. That's why we bring guys in, so we have more depth, and guys are able to do that. So like you said, with the depth that we have and the defense being as easy as it is, the communication part won't be as difficult. So I'm just excited to see what we can do as a unit.
Have a great spring, man. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Barry Trammell and then Mason Young.
Yeah, Delarrin, you guys have improved quite a bit in the last couple of years defensively, but it looks like most Big 12 defenses are getting better across the conference. Do you see in the Big 12 that everybody's sort of gaining on the offenses after the offenses were such high-powered 3-4 years ago?
Right. I feel like the defenses of the Big 12 are kind of just tired of the disrespect because, we have guys in this league, that can make plays at the next level easily, and that can easily, make the teams in the NFL and actually produce for those teams. But, we see schools like, the SEC and things like that, like getting a lot of praise for their defenses. But, once you actually, put the numbers together within the conferences, they're kind of the same, if the Big 12, maybe the Big 12 has better numbers than those conferences, but, it's kind of just like a disrespect thing for the defense of the Big 12 because whenever you think of the Big 12 or you hear someone talking outside the Big 12, they will easily tell you, well, the Big 12 is the offensive league. So I feel like the defense of the Big 12 is just trying to change that narrative, continue to get better year in and year out.
Thanks, Delarrin.
Thank you.
Hey, Delarrin, got time for two more. We'll go to Mason Young and then Lee Benson.
Yeah, Delarrin, you guys on defense have a couple guys that play in front of you, and Caleb Kelly and Jalen Redmond coming back this season. Just how much does that mean for you to have these guys back in practice right now and for the next year?
Right. It's always good to get some old heads back in, man. Caleb Kelly, a tremendous leader for this defense also, not only the defense but the team. Another guy that's really good with the playbook, understands the defense on and off the field, It's a tremendous honor, to be able to play with those guys. The things that Jalen Redmond has went through, with his sickness and all of that. Just happy to see him, back on the field, being able to run around and being able to take the field with him and just compete with him is a huge honor because, a lot of guys go through things, but not too many guys actually, go through things like that. Like Caleb Kelly, for example, towards ACL back-to-back. Like, not too many guys go through that. So just being able to be around those guys, see those guys smile and compete, really makes me excited.
All right, Lee, bring us home.
All right, Delarrin, I get the sense after the Cotton Bowl from a lot of your teammates that you all kind of feel like going into this year that you're going to be pretty good this season. I know you've talked a little bit about, I think, expectations maybe, or mentioned it a little bit. But so simply, I'm just curious from your perspective, and I don't know if you can speak for the entire defense of the entire team, but the vibe of the team, what are the expectations for Oklahoma in 2021?
Of course, going out and winning the national championship, as you just said. But, we can't be the same exact team that we were last year because the team last year only got us to – we're only able to win the Cotton Bowl, bowl game. So, we can't afford to settle for that. We can't get comfortable. The expectation is to get better. We're going to push each other day in and day out. Every time we have a practice, even in the weight room, like I'll see like a offensive guy hit a certain weight on bench press or squat or something like that, and then I'll see a defensive guy go right behind him and either do the same weight or, up the weight. So, just being able to compete and make each other better, because that's the only way that we're going to get better. Iron sharpens iron. So, if the defense is giving the offense, a bad look one day in practice and then the offense is just scoring easily, in reality, that's not making them better. So we need to be able to push each other day in and day out in order for us to get better and move forward the way that we know we can.